What is... Dax, are you?
Tracking all our cars on Carvana Value Tracker on all our devices? Yes, Kristen, yes I am.
Well, I've been looking for my phone for...
In Dax's domain, we see all. So we always know what our cars are worth.
All of them?
All of them. Value surge, trucks up 3.9%.
That's a great offer.
I know. Sell?
Sell.
Track your car's value with Carvana Value Tracker today.
Business taxes. We're stressing about all the time and all the money you spent on your taxes.
This is my bill?
Now Business Taxes is a TurboTax small business expert who does your taxes for you and offers year-round advice at no additional cost, so you can keep more money in your business. Now this is taxes. Intuit TurboTax. Get an expert now on turbotax.com/business. Only available with TurboTax Live Full Service.
You got problems that you ought to be concerned with. Moolah! You don't know how you're supposed to earn it, or what to do with it, or how to keep it. You're a freak with a dark, shameful secret. But you're not the only one. Get your hidden financial fears with a blast of sun. Now your healing has begun. It's Bad with Money with Gabe S. Dunn.
Welcome back to Bad with Money, a show about finances and feelings where we don't talk down to you. I'm your host, Gabe S. Dunn, and we're going to read through some of your emails that you have sent. We're a little backlogged because I've been doing these bonus bags, as you know, with follow-up questions for our guests. So I'm going to go through your emails. Sorry about letting them rot. In the meantime, I don't know when this is coming out, but I'm currently safe from the fires. Right now, I'm recording on January 10th. Just know that as of this recording, I'm okay, but I'm sure the repercussions of these fires is going to keep going on and on and on for a long time. So this is an email from Jonathan. Hey, Gabe, I'm writing in response to the Australian voting process mail to share how similar it is to the Brazilian process, thus proving my theory that Australia is the Brazil of English-speaking countries. LOL. Oh, that's so funny. Okay, that's an interesting theory. Let me know if you guys agree. Voting is mandatory for Brazilian citizens between the ages of 18 and 70, and is optional if you're 16, 17, or over 70 or illiterate. It always happens on a Sunday. For those who reside outside the country, there are designated voting locations you must travel to. If you know you won't be able to attend, you can justify the absence beforehand at any post office or up to 60 days after. Failing to do so will result in a fine, and some of the citizenship rights get restricted. You can't renew your ID and passport, apply for public universities, etc. If you move, you can request a transfer of your voting location. Mine used to be a 10-minute walk from my house. So the way I see it, the process is quite simple, and there's no reasons not to vote. If you don't like any of the candidates, you can vote blank, and your vote is simply not counted. Because it's a multi-party system, we usually end up having 2 voting days. The first one with all the candidates, and if none of them achieve majority right away, there's a second turn with only the 2 candidates that got the most votes. I think this is similar to your primaries. But the biggest difference is that our vote is electronic, meaning there's an ATM-like machine, you type your candidate's number, and that's it. Because of that, we usually know who won on the same day. Also, we don't have a designated voting snack, but anywhere that Brazilians gather, there is for sure someone selling food for those waiting in line, and people who don't know each other 10 minutes prior are making plans to go grab a beer afterwards. Most importantly, every vote counts the same. Why the hell would it not? America, explain. Which I guess is a Vine reference. All that said, I'm pro-mandatory voting and have become more and more so after moving to Germany, which has been seeing the rise of AfD, aka the ultra-right neo-Nazi party. Oh, yeah. You know? History repeats itself whether you know better or not. As Sarah Marshall and I say, history repeats itself and it doesn't matter if you have already learned it. Even if you know it, those who fail to learn history repeat it the same rate that those who know history repeat it. I'm quite sure that the majority of the population do not subscribe to these extremist ideas but won't bother voting about it. This is Germany. He's talking about Germany. That being said, Brazil just ditched a goddamn dictator who got voted in, so who knows really what the answer is at this point. Anyway, give Beans a smooch for me and keep being awesome. Jonathan, he, they. Yeah. We think that there's only one way to do things. And it turns out that that's almost never true. And the alternative is absolutely happening pretty seamlessly in another country somewhere. But we just don't talk about it or think about other countries as potential role models for things, because why should we? We're America, the best ever. Okay. This is a message from Darby. Hey, Gabe, second-time writer. As an update to my owning property isn't as great as it seems. I'm going broke from repairs and taxes. Previous email. My house is now actually falling down, and I'm working on Googling, can I use the equity in a crumbling home to get a loan to tear it down and rebuild a home in the same spot? Fun times. I thought I'd send over an interesting book recommendation that I read a couple years ago. Its second edition is expanded, and now the author has launched an entire project and some companion workbooks. It was a good read. Decolonizing Wealth by Edgar Villanueva. Thanks as always for the pod. You're awesome. Oh, I know about this decolonizing wealth situation. Yeah, maybe Edgar would be a good guest on the show because I see a lot of stuff on Instagram about this book. So the subtitle is Indigenous Wisdom to Heal Divides and Restore Balance. Yeah, this might be a really good guest, actually. Thank you, Darby. Dear Gabe, it's Jude. It's been an age since I wrote in. I was working towards getting top surgery, hit a snag though. And now, given the political environment, I think it might be better to work on changing my name for very cis woman reasons and not because of a deviant gender identity or whatever. Sorry, got dark there for a moment. I managed to get my student loans discharged through disability. It took many, many tries because I was filling out the paperwork wrong, because the paperwork makes no sense. I still don't understand why the government can't internally verify that I'm disabled. It would make more sense, but what do I know? I'm pretty sure the people who work at the Social Security office don't know about this program because they never told me about it. They just said the money I had in savings should just go to paying off student loans. Anyway, they'll monitor my disability status for like 3 years, and the letter is very clear that if I, for whatever reason, applied for more federal student loans, I would not be able to discharge them for disability reasons again. I should be absolutely clear that I'm pretty sure this discharge does not apply to private loans. I had to pay one off that I had unknowingly taken out, as in I didn't read as carefully as I should because I was young and foolish. I don't think my family was trying to embezzle money or commit identity theft. But hey, there was a recent class action settlement against the place I took the loan out from, and I had a laugh when I got my cut of the settlement. Anyway, back on topic, classes and degrees. So maybe I can save up and take community college classes on location. They do offer some cool stuff at the community college in town for random enrichment in your enclosure. I'm not sure how many are good or helpful from an academic perspective, though. I guess it's a good thing I'm not particularly interested in a master's anyway right now. But if it's of any interest to your viewers, the site is disabilitydischarge.com. Yes, I know that URL is .com, but it's the right URL. It's an official legal site. God forbid they get a .gov or something. 2 pieces of advice, or these are 2 things I did differently on my accepted application. 1, fill out the address section, even if it hasn't changed, isn't different to what they have on file. 2, have a doctor or APRN fill out the disability attestation. Yes, even if you're legally disabled, it doesn't make sense, but do it. The current episode as I listen and write is the October 4th book club and mailbag chapter. And now I'm listening to the November 8th mailbag. I time traveled. Listening to explanations of the Morgan Housel book makes me think I'm listening to Best of All Possible Worlds from the Candide opera. It's like I'm in Dr. Pangloss's class. The war may seem a bloody curse, it is a blessing in reverse. When cannon roar, both rich and poor by danger are united, till every wrong is righted. I think that me thinking of this song is the only reason I'm not taking loads of psychic damage. I wanted to say that I love that you end every episode with thank you, love you, bye. It's sweet of you and it puts a smile on my face. Finally, to close, I had to mention, virtually every recent episode I've heard mentions join the Discord. It's in the show notes. It is not in the Podcast Addicts show notes page at any rate. Has the URL changed compared to the one in the notes from over a year ago? Screenshot enclosed. Wow, I really should have looked at this before what you sent it months ago. Sorry, Jude. And then Jude signed off, thank you, love you, bye. Thanks, Jude. Well, I'll take a look. I really got to read these emails in a more timely manner. Your hair is so much more than what you see when you look in the mirror. From stress and nutrition to hormones to lifestyle, so many internal factors affect what you see on the outside. With Nutrafol's science-backed, whole-body approach, nourish growth from within and achieve your best hair yet. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist-recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1 million people. See thicker, stronger, faster-growing hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. Physician-formulated with 100% drug-free ingredients, Nutrafol supports healthy hair growth from within by targeting key root causes of thinning: stress, hormones, aging, nutrition, lifestyle, and metabolism through whole-body health. While many supplements rely solely on ingredient studies, Nutrafol clinically tests final formulations to ensure their efficacy. In a clinical study, 72% of men saw more scalp coverage after taking Nutrafol Men Hair Growth Supplement for 6 months, and 86% of women saw improved hair growth after taking Nutrafol Women Hair Growth Supplement for 6 months. Building a hair growth routine is simple. Purchase online, no prescription required. Automated deliveries and free shipping keep you on track. Plus, with a Nutrafol subscription, you can save up to 20%. You'll have access to free naturopathic doctor consults, and a Headspace meditation membership is included. Start your hair growth journey with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month's subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code BWM. Find out why over 4,500 healthcare professionals and stylists recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code BWM. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code BWM. Have you or someone you know been a victim of identity theft, harassed, stalked, doxxed? Privacy matters, especially to someone like me who has a bit of a public persona, but it also matters to my listeners because this kind of thing can happen to anyone. Do you ever wonder how much of your personal data is out there on the internet for anyone to see? More than you think. Your name, your contact info, your social security number, your home address, even information about your family members, all compiled by data brokers and sold online. Data brokers make a profit off your data, and your data is a commodity. Anyone on the web can buy your private details. This can lead to identity theft, phishing attempts, harassment, and unwanted spam calls. But you can now protect your privacy with Delete Me. I share a lot of my life online, so I am hyper aware of my safety and security. It's easier than ever before to find personal information about people online, and all of this data is just hanging out on the web, but it can have actual consequences in the real world. I have used Delete Me. I had an instance where some stuff was going on Reddit. I don't want to draw more attention to it, but I used Delete Me because a friend of mine who's a sex worker actually told me about it. And it's something that a lot of women online use in order to keep their information safe from stalkers and harassers. The solution that we used is called Delete Me. It is a subscription service that removes your personal info from hundreds of data brokers. I have actually used this. I used this years ago, and so that's why I'm choosing to personally endorse it. If you sign up and provide Delete Me with exactly what information you want deleted, their experts take it from there. Delete Me sends you regular, personalized privacy reports showing what info they found, where they found it, and what they removed. Delete Me isn't just a one-time service. It is always working for you, constantly monitoring and removing the personal information you don't want on the internet. To put it simply, Delete Me does all the hard work of wiping you and your family's personal information from data broker websites. Take control of your data and keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me, now at a special discount for my listeners. Today, get 20% off your Delete Me plan by texting BAD MONEY to 64000. Text BAD MONEY to 64000. That's BAD MONEY, all one word, to 64000. Message and data rates may apply. See terms for details. New Year's resolutions are so hard to follow. I argue that we should probably just make these resolutions at any other time during the year when it's less stressful and there's less pressure on them. But if you have a specific resolution that you want to stick to that you feel is like within your grasp, that isn't like so far-fetched, then I guess New Year's is as good a time as any to do it. Especially with money, because that stuff is like, you just need a kickstart, and it's really not that hard to do. It's really not so far off. If you have a big goal, only 8% of people stick to their resolutions all year long. But let's say there's a little goal that's a little more automatic, like Acorns. With Acorns, you can lock in years and years of healthy money habits in just 5 minutes. That's all the time it takes to open your account and start automatically saving and investing your money so it has a chance to grow. Automatically. That's key for one of those little resolutions. That's right. Today's episode is sponsored by Acorns. Acorns makes it easy to start automatically saving and investing so your money has a chance to grow for you, your kids, and your retirement. You don't need to be an expert. Acorns will recommend a diversified portfolio that fits you and your money goals. You don't need to be rich. Acorns lets you invest with the spare money you've got right now. You can start with $5 or even just your spare change. You don't need a ton of time. You can create your Acorns account and start investing in just 5 minutes. You don't need to feel like financial wellness is impossible. Acorns gives you small, simple steps to get you and your money on track. Again, what a good time to go for a resolution that isn't like climb Mount Everest. You know what I mean? Basically, Acorns does the hard part so you can give your money a chance to grow. As far as personal experience, you guys know that I've been up and down with investing. I've just gotten back into it with a very small amount of money. It really does matter. Watching it grow even a little bit is huge for me. And if you do start doing it, I mean, we would truly be on a better path financially than most people. Don't let it get you down that you're like, oh, it's just a small amount of money. That is like such an achievement in this country, I promise. Head to acorns.com/badmoney or download the Acorns app to start saving and investing for your future today. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides incentive to positively promote Acorns. Tier 1 compensation provided. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. View important disclosures at acorns.com/badmoney. Okay, so getting into more modern territory, I don't know if you guys listened to the episode that I did in November about getting attacked in my car, but a lot of you guys wrote in regarding that, and it was very, very lovely. So this is a message from Mariam. Hey, I hope you were able to find support. Just know that you don't have to be funny or make good content friendly to the algorithm when you have a traumatic experience. You can if you want, but you don't owe any of us shit. Well, I appreciate the sentiment, but I do owe you guys some. I mean, I feel that I owe you guys some stuff, at least. But anyway, I hope that your friends and family gathered together to love and support you, and that through this whole ordeal, you've seen folks show up for you. What happened to you is terrible. It's not your fault, and I'm glad you're alive. This shit out in the world is super traumatic, and I hope that these things stop happening. Until then, best of luck with your healing and dealing, Mariam. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, the update on that is I was told that it'll be like $842 to fix my car. I haven't done it yet. I applied to the California Victims of Violence Fund, so I have to have a meeting with them, but I still haven't done that yet. And I just finally made room in my schedule to go to trauma therapy. So I literally started yesterday. It just was the holidays and I couldn't figure out a good time to do it. And I also, then there was like a week where I was just like, I don't want to. So, you know, the concept of I don't want to. Here's the thing. And I've been thinking about this a lot. I could sit here and I could give you financial advice and I could provide financial advice, and I do. But there's something that I think a lot of people just don't understand and will never understand until they're into the kind of headspace or financial space that I've been in, and that I think a lot of you have been in. There is nothing anyone could tell you when you are so deeply financially fucked and when you're so deeply mentally unwell. Like, the idea of someone giving you a solution is exhausting. The idea of doing anything is exhausting. I don't want to have to open my mail while I'm upset about this attack. Like, the level of things that you had to do right after this happened. Like, I went in, I had to I had to give a statement to the police. Then I had to go in and do a photo lineup where I had to pick the guy out of the lineup. And then I spent, a week wondering if I picked the wrong guy because they don't tell you. And then I got an email from the cops saying that they had issued a warrant for the guy and that they were going to charge him with a felony because he did try to kill me. For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, just go listen to the financial aftermath of Gabe's attack because it's not going to make sense otherwise. I think there is a fundamental, and I'm not saying this to be rude to anyone in my life, but I think there is a fundamental difference in worldview when you are someone who there's no money. Like there's not like you can sit there and listen to advice about, well, just put away some savings. The world is hard and you can do everything right. And then a guy attacks you in your car. You can do everything right. And then I'm having some like weird medical things now. And it's like the idea of being like, hey, just sit down and budget. That advice coming from people with money is starting to drive me a little insane. And so just know that I'm with you. I'm never going to tell you it's easy. I'm never going to tell you that, you know, it's all just about discipline. Like I'm evacuated from a fire right now. There was a strike in my industry. There was COVID. There was like, I got top surgery. I went through a engagement that broke up. I got attacked. And then to listen to someone with a cushion just be like, well, I feel like you're not, like, why aren't you doing these things? Or to watch reels. It's literally like watching these reels that I watch because I follow a lot of money media, and not to like shit on other people because there's money advice needed for these people too. But, just like looking at one where the person was like, and I just stopped using credit cards. I was like, we're not even in the same universe, my dude. So anyway, everyone, I don't even want to say everyone is doing their best because it's okay if you're not doing your best. It's absolutely fine to not be doing your best, to not be trying, it's like, well, just do the best that you can. I don't want to. So I think that that's valid, and I hope I was articulate, and I hope it made sense and wasn't too much of a bummer, but just an indication that I understand you. I'm here for you, and I would love to hear more from you guys. I think a really good resource is the Reddit Poverty Finance. I think normalizing the people that I follow and talk to about this kind of stuff, like normalizing a person outside of the entertainment industry, is probably good for my mental health. So that's one of the reasons I really like my day job, is that it's nothing to do with entertainment. And one reason that I like talking to the people there, and I feel very useful and helpful in a very direct way. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if any of this makes sense. It's basically just kind of railing against the type of financial content that I see that is coming from someone who I just know has never worked, or it's been a long time since they've worked a job that really drains your body and soul, and that has responsibilities come up, and that just, it doesn't know the entrenched hopelessness of growing up the way that I did, and then believing so hard in yourself and then having life still happen. I don't know. Ugh. Let's do a positive thing that has some takeaways. So this is from someone who wrote in. I'll just call them W. Hey, first, feel free to read this or keep it to yourself. If you do read it, I always write too much, so cut it down as you need. I'm an LCSW clinical social worker in New Mexico. After a decade of crisis work and high-risk intervention this past year, I had to walk away. My secondary PTSD just became PTSD. To go into counseling and private practice, but I'm thankful I learned a few tricks along the way. I want to say you are right in every single way. I hope you are wrapped up in love by people who care about you, people that you trust, and people who honor how scary it truly was. Your life and body are truly precious just because you exist. You survived, and that is endlessly powerful. Regardless of what the person or anyone said, this situation is not your fault, and this person's behavior was not something you caused, nor did you deserve it. I will say that when I was speaking to the police after the lineup, and then a couple weeks later when they were telling me that they had charged him with a felony and attempted murder, they said that he was known to them, that he had been a violent offender before. So that was scary. Anyway, Because of who I am as a clinician, my first focus is always about community. Right now, I just want to say what I call the quiet out loud. Ask for a ride, or ask to trade cars with someone who can for a few weeks, 4 to 6 weeks. If you need, you can check in on your car once a week or so if it helps, or however you find with a therapist. If someone has full coverage insurance, they probably are going to be covered or can call their insurance to confirm if they must. I got right back into my car after the attack. I have been using my car. It does stress me out. It is scary. It isn't great for me mentally, but I think I would feel worse being in someone else's car. And I want my car to continue to be the safe space that I love my car. I love having a car. I love being in that space and having that to myself. So I see what you're saying about switching cars, but then I think I would just worry about how unfamiliar that other car was. And then I would worry about what if I did something to this other person's car and then they were mad at me and then it was a whole thing. Like, it would feel like a burden, I think. But I see what you're saying. Start a meal train. One of the things I often have worked with people on is minimizing costs through genuine community support to open up the ability to meet more urgent needs. Honestly, after a trauma, you might really benefit from people around you feeding you and intentionally checking in. Plus, it can feel more accessible and less invasive when you are able to give others a concrete task, and less overwhelming for you when you get those "let me know if I can do anything" texts. You can just send a link and say joining this and checking in person over the next few weeks would be so helpful, my dude. I often say intentional engagement in community allows us to open up and learn so we can return to ourselves. I did a version of this. I had friends that were really, really, really wonderfully helpful. My friends Lauren and Grania, Manny, Ryan, Alex, a lot of people were, Leland, a lot of people were like extremely helpful or offered really wonderful stuff. Yeah, thank you for all of these people. The next is the less fun, potentially re-traumatizing financial stuff. Federally funded and often not explained to those who survive violent crime is crime victims' reparations. Here is the link to California's. Usually you can do it on your own with a support person or with a provider, which is a lot easier and less stressful if you have a provider's assistance. Yes, so I filled that out already and I sent them the car estimate and I'm going to send them the estimate for therapy as well. Here is the National Crime Victims Response and Advocacy website, trinova.org. I have no experience with this, but usually reaching out to national hotlines and working your way down can be really helpful to finding therapists or resources locally who provide temporary pro bono services, among other supports. Yes, Allison was extremely helpful in finding me a trauma therapist with someone she interviewed for her book, actually. Allison helped with that. Yeah, I am in touch with the Crime Victims Fund. I don't know how long it'll take. Here is more information on restitution from the LA County DA's office. The other thing is it's like, oh, if we catch the guy, he might be charged with paying you something. But it's also like, yeah, he can be charged with paying me something, but he probably doesn't have that money. Like, you could win $1 million in a lawsuit. Doesn't mean that they have $1 million to give you. I wrote in once before, and I still want to say you have changed my life, and I share your podcast as a resource to clients all the time. Self-employment, especially as a clinician in most circumstances, does not pay well, but I know I am safer. I had the courage to take the risk because of the information I learned and resourced from you. I have lived out of my car, drowned in medical debt, lost a parent, and started and ended relationships all over the course of listening to your show. Because of that, I can make giant life changes and keep my apartment, my very small retirement account, and know who to call, check my bank accounts regularly without crying. There's not much in them. I'm just less afraid, and much more. You matter and make ripples, so thanks. Feel free to skip my name. It's not important. And then I'm going to call them W. It's really hard for me to internalize that, like the positives. Because again, like I said, right? Like, so, like, I have a real mental illness. I'm laughing because that's what a skimming the surface way of talking about it. But yeah, so I have all of that, and I'm in trauma therapy. I upped my meds, but I was like not doing well anyway. And then I got attacked, and it is hard because I know that it matters to you guys, and it's just hard for me to internalize that and to make that not matter to me, but to make that tangible to me, or to make a connection with that to myself and my own self-worth. So please keep sending it. Like, don't take this as a me being unable to take a compliment, but it is still overwhelming to me, or hard for me to have that make the impact that I'm sure it would have on, someone else. But it is hard for me to pull myself out of the dredges of my own brain and my own mental illness. Maybe I'll talk about it more on the show another time. Yeah, I'm doing all the things to try to get better. But as I said before about the money stuff, it's kind of like this feeling of, if this gets better, another thing will happen. This will happen, another thing. Like, life is a lot of stuff. And a lot of stuff you never, so now the city's burning, it's just like never ending. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, meds are upped. We'll see what happens. Thank you for writing in. I love you guys. I'll talk to you later. Okay. Thank you. Love you. Bye. Bad with Money with Gabriel S. Dunn is a production of Noted Bisexual. Produced by Melissa D. Motz and Diamond M Print Productions. Edited by Diane Kang. Post-production sound by Coco Lorenz. Production assistance by Melanie D. Watson. And music by Mike Kaplan, Zach Sherwin, and Jack Dolgen. Sung by Sam Barbera. Thank you. Love you. Bye.
What is... Dax, are you?
Tracking all our cars on Carvana Value Tracker on all our devices? Yes, Kristen, yes, I am.
Well, I've been looking for my phone for...
In Dax's domain, we see all. So we always know what our cars are worth.
All of them?
All of them. Value surge, trucks up 3.9%.
That's a great offer.
I know. Sell?
Sell.
Track your car's value with Carvana Value Tracker today.
Stay warm and save every day, all in the Kroger app. Get 10 for $10 on select varieties of Kroger pasta, Starkist tuna pouches, or Powerade. Then get flavorful fresh Heritage Farm chicken split breast, drumsticks, or thighs for $1.49 a pound, all with your card. Shop these deals at your local Kroger, less than 5 miles away. Or tap the screen now to download the Kroger app to save big today. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Prices and product availability subject to change. Restrictions apply. See site for details.